Good morning, Chair Galbraith and members of the Active Hearing Committee. I would like to start by thanking all of you for being here and engaging in this process, particularly during the summer when you're off contract. I know that providing service of this nature is not an easy undertaking, and the work that you are contributing is greatly appreciated. Under Safransky versus Personnel Board, just cause exists when a tenured governmental employee's conduct can reasonably be said to have a tendency to impair the employee's performance of duties of the employee's position or the efficiency of the group with which the employee works, or is so substantial, oft-repeated, flagrant, or serious that the employee's retention in service will undermine the public confidence in the employer's service. The university has provided evidence that establishes just cause to terminate Dr. Gow's employment. Dr. Gow has violated university policy and has undermined the trust the university once had in him. More troubling is that he just doesn't seem to get it. I will not exhaustively restate all of the evidence that has been presented here today, or in the last 2 days really, but I will cover some highlights. There's no question that Dr. Gow engaged in insubordination. He received multiple clear directives from Dr. Morgan to cooperate with investigators and with the investigative process, and failed to do so. His refusals have harmed this process. Making a decision to terminate anyone is a very serious undertaking, and the institution, the employee, and the committee should have the best available information. We do not. At times during this proceeding, Dr. Gow has repeatedly used uses phrases along the lines of, "Would it surprise you to know?" before making a particular assertion. Had Dr. Gow cooperated with the investigation, there would be no need for surprises here. It is reasonable for the committee to infer that Dr. Gow refused to participate in the investigation because doing so would not benefit him. Interviews with investigators would establish a record, and he would be locked into statements, making it much more difficult to introduce new surprises here. In addition, he was paid approximately $50,000 for the spring semester and failed to perform his only assignment. The fact that he is a tenured faculty member should not excuse this conduct. Credible evidence supports the conclusion that Dr. Gow violated the university's acceptable computer use policy. Login credentials for pornographic websites were recovered from the laptop computers, and the X-Hamster form was found on the desktop. November of 2023 is in alignment with a period in which Dr. Gow was making his adult content more publicly accessible, so that is also alignment with the facts here. Dr. Gow did not maintain a complete separation between his hobby and his workplace. It is unfortunate that Dr. Gow has advanced a conspiracy theory to try to distract from the report's findings, particularly given his prior role as chancellor. That is a very serious allegation, and no evidence has been introduced by him to support it. Moreover, had Dr. Gow participated in the investigation, the university would have been able to directly address the forensic findings and incorporate his responses into the report. Dr. Gow is engaged in a range of unethical and potentially illegal conduct. He had a business relationship with Ms. Hartley when he brought her to campus in 2018 and failed to disclose this information. He now asserts that monogamy with benefits and married with benefits are not really autobiographical, and that statements such as "all events are described are true" are part of a nonfiction novel literary style, and that the words do not mean exactly what they explicitly say. However, he provided zero clarification regarding what liberties may have been taken, what is truthful in there, what is not truthful. Notwithstanding the modern critiques of the ethics surrounding so-called nonfiction novels, I have a few comments on this. It would be reasonable for the committee to find that the statements in Dr. Gow's books are more credible than his statements here. As a practical matter, even if the nonfiction novel assertion were true, how would any member of the public know this? The books are still damaging the university's interests as a result of Dr. Gow's actions. Finally, I respectfully direct the committee to Exhibit UWL 107E, which is a video copy of the interview that Dr. Gow participated in for the Sex Party webcast show. From approximately minute 4 through minute 6, Dr. Gow admits to illegal conduct that mirrors one of the encounters described in Monogamy with Benefits. So at least for that encounter, it would appear that was accurately related in the book, because there's certainly no warning given on that podcast that any liberties are being taken with facts. As I said yesterday, it is Dr. Gow's repeated poor judgment that has led to this point, and the concern has been amplified during this hearing. Dr. Morgan has filed charges against Dr. Gow because of inappropriate conduct that is damaging to the integrity of the university, insubordinate conduct, and the erosion of trust, conduct that overlaps during the time he was chancellor. We established that when Dr. Gow brought Nina Hartley to campus in 2018, a decision he was reprimanded for, he had a pre-existing business relationship with her. They'd filmed adult content together. This was not disclosed at the time and has only recently come to light. During this hearing, Dr. Gow clearly stated he does not believe that he had a business relationship with Ms. Hartley or any conflict of interest. By any reasonable measure, he is wrong. During questioning yesterday, Dr. Gow would not even admit that during the time he was chancellor that he routinely directed employees to perform various tasks. I'm not even sure how it would be possible to be chancellor and not delegate and assign people to do tasks. Dr. Gow sparred with Dan Chanin and was able to admit that his refusal to participate in the investigation was in any way inappropriate or insubordinate. Again, he was wrong and argued more about insubordination today. He went back and forth with Dr. Morgan, unable to seemingly even consider some of her perspectives stemming from her work as interim chancellor, cleaning up his mess. Through articles, Dr. Gow has clearly indicated that he would be open to discussing his hobby with students if he returns to the classroom, and he has also indicated that he has gained great media experience from being interviewed during this process and that those experiences would be relevant to the classroom. I asked the committee to seriously consider whether Dr. Gow would listen to his department chair or provost if they directed him not to raise these topics in the classroom. He won't listen to Dr. Morgan when she is in her interim chancellor role. Why would he follow her directives once she is provost? Why would he listen to his department chair? Regardless of Dr. Gow's questionable recharacterization of the books accurately foreshadowed what would happen if his hobby became public. His conduct was premeditated. The university has been surprised during this hearing at the deflection from Dr. Gow on a variety of issues. Ray Cross's and select regents' reactions to the 2018 Nita Hartley matter is what made the matter worse, not Dr. Gow's conduct. His decision to publicize his hobby last fall isn't the issue. It's the way in which President Rothman and the Board of Regents terminated his chancellor position. During his opening statement, he chastised the university for submitting exhibits with explicit photos, even though those images came from Dr. Gow's public-facing loyal fans page. Even when his damaging comments have been directly quoted by the media rather than summarized, he has asserted that the media got it wrong, not him. Dr. Gow has expressed great concern about the amount of money that has gone towards investigating his inappropriate conduct, but has expressed zero concern over his own conduct, ignoring the fact that but for his conduct, the expenditure of any funds would have been completely unnecessary. Dr. Morgan provided ample testimony demonstrating what has only become more clear during this hearing. Dr. Gow just doesn't get it or is unable to acknowledge that his conduct has been harmful to this campus community and a distraction from its core mission. I will reiterate that Dr. Gow is an intelligent man, a former chancellor and currently a faculty member in the Communication Studies Department. However, it is time for his relationship with UW-La Crosse, his employment relationship at least, to come to an end and allow the campus to refocus on its core mission. Dr. Gow is free to make and publish adult content and engage in other activities, but the university can reasonably conclude that doing so is at odds with the university's public purpose and best interests. The university believes that if Dr. Gow remains, he will continue to distract from the university's mission. His presence will be disruptive to the Communications Studies Department and will undermine public trust in the university. The university respectfully requests that this committee recommend that Dr. Gow be terminated for cause.